Good afternoon. This is Julz Ann Paekau coming to you from Auckland, New Zealand. I am a trusted seller within the TBC community. Good afternoon, Bitcoin Scott. Thank you so much for coming along. It's always nice chatting with you, as you know, and catching up with you. Thank you very much. Now, I understand that the rotor is back up in the back office of the Criminal Cash back office. So I will put my link into the rotor once I get finished here. Please excuse my husky voice. It's the amount of medication I'm on. It's not doing my throat any favours, but life goes on, eh? So I wanted to do this broadcast in honour of many things, actually. The first and foremost is being a trusted seller here within the TBC community, which is a privilege because many things will befall you in the way of getting things done, working towards a goal, and most of all, working with people who care, who are there for you, who will help you along if should you ask for it, and there's no need to feel left out because there's always somebody there to help you. Good afternoon, Dr. Joe Stevens. Thank you for being here. I've had to, because of the unusual schedule of my days, I was asked if it was okay to do a broadcast, whether your link is on the rotor or not. I was asked by one of my team, and to be honest, I just said, well, I make unscheduled stops because I never know whether I'm going to be home at the time of my schedule. I try and schedule so I can be there, but due to what happens during the day, it's not always possible. But I still believe that if you do a broadcast, no matter the time and day, and it's all done with sincerity and with the positivity of being directed at TBC, then I don't see any problems with doing a broadcast, as long as you're doing it. Because good afternoon, Stephen and Covey. Thank you for being here. Because as is known, we need more broadcasters. And so I can't see how doing one of my broadcasts outside my allotted time can harm anybody, especially when there's so many slots that are vacant. So for those people who think that they're not doing the right thing if they can't get a spot, to me, just do a broadcast. Yes, GW does like people to keep to their rota, to their slots, but when things are going wrong in there, and it just can't be helped, well then, to me, doing a broadcast, whether it be in the right spot or not, is the main thing. And that's what I believe anyway. And so to say it's cold, steam and coffee is an understatement. Look at me, I'm so rugged up, I'm ready for the North Pole. And there you are, basking in the sun. Good on you. So this afternoon, I wanted to first, good afternoon, Kenville Moody. Thank you for being here. I want to take a little time, just a short clip on the pride that I feel for our Māori people here in New Zealand, who do little things but that are widely noticed around the world. Now, I've got a little clip here, and I want to share it with you because this defines New Zealand as a people and how we take pride in what happens in our lives and in our young people's lives. So here's a little clip. It's only a minute long, but this is our Māori people in England. And this may not mean a lot to some people, but it means a heck of a lot to us people here in New Zealand. So this is just a short clip.
Alexia Hilbertito from New Zealand.
It was a smile fit for a queen.
I was absolutely
our young New
so
Zealanders
so that afterwards
offshore.
David Beckham actually came up to me and said, "You have
There's
the
Mr.
biggest
Beckham.
smile of all the Queen's young leaders." So I was like, it was amazing.
Kiwis Alexia Hilbertito
And this cloak that this boy has got on is one of our original, it's what we call a korowai. It's a cloak. And when you're wearing one of these cloaks, you are very honoured in the eyes of your tribe, your people, and in your country. They're all birds' feathers.
And how important she sees culture in New Zealand. You are the hope
and this is proud. This is proud to me.
19-year-old Alexia, the youngest recipient this year, Starts Up Girl Boss New Zealand, an outfit helping women break the employment glass ceiling.
Girl
I
Boss.
want New Zealand to be the first country in the world for women to reach full gender equality.
Ezekiel is passionate about youth mental health
and
issues.
our young youth.
My aim is to hit and to target zero suicide within New Zealand.
There you go.
Also sharing
a boy
their
after my own heart, targeting suicide.
Trip down under in October.
I told them that currently there's more female CEOs on the New Zealand Stock Exchange named John than CEOs who are women. And Prince Harry put a really shocked face and said, "Is that true? Really?" And he said, "Oh, that's definitely got to change."
This is the fourth and final year of the Queen's Young Leaders Awards. There's been 60 recipients a year since 2014, one for every single year that the Queen had been head of the Commonwealth at the time of her Diamond Jubilee. And in case you're wondering,
and what's it like inside Buckingham Palace? What does it look like? How grand is it?
If you think you've seen grand in a movie, times that by 10, and that's Buckingham Palace.
A fitting place to honour two Kiwis doing their country proud. Joy Reid, One News, London.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
4 days after being introduced to the world, the royal family's newest addition is no longer named.
Okay, here we go. So yes, I just had to share that because, yeah, well, you know, think about me, Stephen Covey. It will be so hot here in my location tomorrow. But just think of me while I'm all rugged up, ready to hit the North Pole. So that was my little proud moment that our young people are doing around the world of good around the globe. The young boy in the clip is representing youth suicide. And as you know, I'm very passionate about youth suicide here in New Zealand. And so seeing that clip this morning, I just thought I could use it as part of my broadcast to define us as a people. Good afternoon, Serenes. Thank you for being here. So we do many good things here in New Zealand, and we, as a proud people, I see many things about land and the water and who owns it, and we have had this discussion for many, many years here in New Zealand. But the thing is, we're winning the race. We are getting our land back, our waterways back. And so we don't go with it. We don't go down without fighting. Now, there's some very rich and elite people here in New Zealand who come and buy up our land. We have just won a civil court of somebody who tried to come in and buy a beautiful ranch down the middle of our New Zealand, in New Zealand, down in what we call the King Country. And they were Americans, and they tried to come in and buy this big, beautiful ranch, which was worth about $9-point-something million, and we fought them off. As the proud people, they weren't going to get away with it too easily, and we won our land back. Now they come in with all their money and against the people. That all we've got going for us is one another, as has TBC. We've got things going for one another. We've got things going for one another that help us define us as a people. We don't go down without a fight. Now I know the rich and elite, they've got a long, long reach. They have. But we got a long, long history. And we don't take things lightly. We certainly don't lay down to the elite and the rich and the wealthy. And so this farm that we won back, because the people who wanted it weren't going to do anything with it. They just needed to own it. Now here's a bit of truth, and you can go and look it up. I don't need to look it up. Americans are trying to buy up our land. For one, that it's a beautiful country, and two, it's the safest place on earth. And us as the Māori people, or a Kiwi living here in New Zealand, we already got the land, Bitcoin Scott. That's why I say we don't go down. We've fought for years to get our land back. But yeah, I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. Our people fight together. And over the last 10 years, they've been giving our land back, plus what they owe. Māori here in New Zealand actually own townships because they owned it in the first place until we were colonised by the British. They brought some in South Island and blocked off a lake. Yeah, well, there's another fight on our hands. You know, they bring these things to New Zealand. They bring in these people to buy these things, and so then we turn around and fight for it back. And it's always a hard fight. It's always a hard fight. We've only just got the foreshores back after 20-odd years, but we got it back. And that's what I say defines us as a people. We don't let them come in and run roughshod. Back in the day, the British could buy a huge block of land for a sack of corn because the people, our tupuna, our old people back then, didn't understand. And then as the generations have evolved, we've gotten our land back, bit by bit, slowly but surely. And so I guess with that happening in the South Island, Joe, here comes another fight on our hands. Lucky there's no more. Well, I wish there was more Whina Coopers around. So yeah, so I just had to share that little bit. So now I wanted to go because I haven't actually pinpointed the blog. So I wanted to go to the blog and share the toolbox that we've all been sharing, because it's actually something that we have all had the ability to make use of. Create a toolbox, a personal toolbox, and label your tools. You know, that's a very busy toolbox there. Over the last 2+ years, hundreds of tools have been created for your use in TBC. And isn't it funny how, with all the tools that were given, still people refuse to utilize them? These are major tools that we have been blessed with. Serene's prayer warrior. We, the Māori people, are blessed that our land cannot be taken from us, from the Crown government. Absolutely, Serene's. And as I was just letting Bitcoin Scott know, we're not like every other country. We don't lay down and let them take our land. We fight right back. Thank you for that, Serene's. Every single blog post here in the blog was created with purpose. So you should identify each purpose and label the tool accordingly and organize your toolbox. Now, I just want to touch on that. Now, right at this moment, my toolbox actually is more than one toolbox. Now, I'm going to pull up this little chart here. I hope you can see this. Can you guys see this? My Excel spreadsheet. Can you just let me know if you can see this sheet? Am I sharing this with you guys? I hope so. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joe Stevens. Well, this is my tool sheet every morning at 2:00 in the morning. My medication regime. This is what I'm on. Steroids, you name it, I'm on it. And I do this, see, look, 2:30 a.m. in the morning, I get up and take my medication. And so, this is what being organised, this is all my medication. And do bloods and go to chemo. But it's something I can handle because I've organised it. When I went to the hospital yesterday for my chemo, they couldn't believe how organised I was. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't know which day to take all these medication. I wouldn't know what to do. You know, even to this helps me because, you know, I lose it. I lose it in my head. So I don't know which tablets to have food with and, you know, what time to take my temperature and all that, you know. So this keeps me organised. So I know which tablets. I'm not taking the wrong tablet at the right time. And this is a toolbox. This is my toolbox. I'll just put that. And so here's my TBC toolbox. Hundreds of videos made by TBC leaders are also useful tools. Now, as we all know, the friendly marketer, he's got his professionalism on. He has got his professor suit on. And he's just going from strength to strength. And I thought one for one pound there. I'm going to make some videos for this and videos for that. But he is doing such a brilliant job. All you have to do is go to his channel, pull up his videos that he's, and you know, he puts them in such plain language. And this morning, I happened to be on Victoria's Flourishes broadcast. And one of her members has also done videos that are so on par, and yet, Jules, you really only need one, and that is hemp oil. Yes, you are exactly right there, Stephen. I'm just going to read Joe Stevens' comment, and yet, Jules, you really only need one, and that is hemp oil, full strength, and take a pin drop a day. Absolutely, and I know exactly how that works, Joe. It's just getting my hands on it. Now, on the weekend, I have my cousin's daughter who will be making me some rongoa, and I will go down for a blessing on the weekend in Hamilton, and I've got some rongoa to pick up and some kumaraho. So it's a start. It's a start. But if I got my hand on the hemp oil, and I've got 2 people in Australia who are trying to get that to me, and so, thank you. I know how important these things are, because although this is the second time I've gone through this, exactly the same thing, it just seems that my body's more heavier this round. But I go out every day so I can do some walking. I need to keep myself busy. But thank you for that, Joe. Each page and section of our websites are tools as well, and we need to be labelled two for ease of use. Using TBC tools saves you time and frustration. If only people took notice of what's available to them. Don't feed the bears. If you always provide on-demand, comprehensive and timely answers to questions in your own words, those demanding such from you will eventually turn against you when they don't like the truth of your answer. Now, isn't that the truth? You try and put it in plain, simple terms to some people, and they just want to turn it upside down until they're so confused they get pissed off with you because they're not hearing what they want to hear. And so who's getting frustrated here, you or the person? Well, and if they're going to begin to make things so difficult, well then you're definitely wasting your time. I try and put things as simple as I can so people can understand me. I haven't got the use of many flash words, but I guess in TBC you don't really need them. So long as your talk is plain and simple and they can understand you, they can ask you a question, you give them an answer, and if it's understandable to them, even if they ask the same question twice, if they do that, the first answer, the first time, just needed a bit of planning, a bit of sinking in. And so the second time usually finishes it off, and then they get it, maybe even 3 times. But it's those types of people I don't mind helping, because to ask the same question again is to know that they're trying to let it sink and they're trying to get it. So just be pretty good and passing along the tools, or better yet, dump your entire toolbox on them with all of its labels. We are like Home Depot, or here in New Zealand, we are Bunnings. We provide stuff for do-it-yourselves. Teach personal responsibility and never accept someone else's lack of preparation as your own emergency to deal with out there. Yeah, don't let them play with your emotions. You let your guard down for a minute, they're going to trample all over you. People end up getting whatever they deserve. So make a toolbox and label it good. And as each new blog post comes out, see if it is a replacement tool for a tool in your toolbox, or a new toolbox, or a new tool needing a label. And so this is a well set out toolbox, and as I was saying, when you've got things in order, this is having your house in order. You know, just like my daily regime. My house is in order because it has to be, and you can't start from the bottom and work your way to the top. It doesn't work that way. Or go from the middle, work to the side, down to the bottom, up to the top. No, it doesn't work that way. You've got to be able to look in your toolbox and just be able to go to the bit that you need. Have them all labelled. Pick up the tool that you need, and let them know that you're an organised person. You know what you're talking about, and don't let them tell you any otherwise. Because if they haven't got an organised toolbox like this, then they've got no right to ask you if you've got your faculties all in the right place. And so, with my toolbox already and organised, if the nurse said to me, "Oh, what did you take that day?" I got it all sus, because when I take my medication, I turn them into red, and that way I know that I've taken them. And when I do my bloods every morning, I turn them into red because I know that that's the day I've got to do that. So having an organised toolbox like this, then 90% of the work is done. The rest is manual. Get your people to be organised and get your toolbox. Get your house in order, and then we'll all be on the same page. And then any little thing, anything that you need that you think you have to catch up with. Look, there's heaps of talent in here. Bitcoin Scott, TBC Dr. Joe Stevens, Stephen Covey, Kenville Moody, Serene's, Teokatai. There's a ton of talent ready for anybody to utilise. So I'll stop sharing that. And so I hope I've had made a little leeways in what I was trying to attempt today, because it makes sense to me that if your house is in order, then you're in order. Your life is in order. And then you notice that if something falls out of place, you certainly know when that happens, because you generate you generate a happening during the day, and you run it to fit into the mode of the day, and then it's like, oh well, I've done that, and I've done that, and I've done that. I have a tendency to procrastinate quite often, and so I have to check back. And then sometimes it could get to the end of the day, and I've missed something, and then I'll go, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. That's procrastination at its worst. And if I get to that point, well then you got to go back and do it. You've got to go back and do it. But when you're organised, like your toolbox, but then not much should go awry in between. Lead by example, be it at home or on the broadcast. Absolutely, Serenes. We can all fit in our day to fit around people, so long as it's in a lot of time to suit you. I like to fit in my people. They come to me, normally in the evenings, but mostly in the weekend. And so I will fit my time to them. And I don't mind. You know, it's not as if I'm going out hard to dig the road or anything. Because some people are doing the hard yards. And I want to help those people. TBC is to help do what many programs on this planet are refusing to do. Make you rich quick? No, not anymore. Doesn't work that way anymore. So I'll have to leave things there because we've got a meeting to go to with Randy Wilson. So from the bottom of my heart, I'd just like to give out a big thank you to Bitcoin Scott, TBC Dr. Joe Stevens, Stephen Covey, Kenville Moody, Serene's TBC Prayer Warrior, Tiokotai Williams. Thank you all for coming along to my yet another unplanned broadcast. But these things are important to all of us here in this chat room and on this broadcast. So thank you all. And I don't even know what time my next broadcast is going to be, but I hope you got the bell on and then you'll know. So let's go over and see Randy Wilson, see what he's got up his sleeve. And goodbye for now. And you take care. Have a lovely day, evening, night, afternoon, and God bless you all. See you soon.